What up, Gooners? Pick up that remote and put everything you've ever done on display for the entertainment of millions of people, because we are not talking about the internet today. Well, not entirely. You guys are listening to Super Despair World, the only show left on the air that will never be pay-per-view, except for our bonus episodes. Also, do you hear that, Nebula? Get fucked. I'm just kidding. No, we're too vulgar to ever get that deal going anyway. But hey, if you guys like making deals, there are some great ways to do that.
Yeah, join our Patreon, patreon.com/superdespairworld. You can join and donate a sinister $6 to get access to our bonus episodes, which are great. We have a $2 tip jar where you can join our Discord with the coolest kids in your school. You could finally be a part of the cool kids lunch table. And we also have a merch store, merch.superdespairworld.com, where we are selling stickers, which are great. And I highly recommend you check that out. And, you can help support the show and get a neat little sticker for it. So if you are interested in any of that type of stuff, the Lord will smile upon you. And if not, I mean, if something bad happens to you, I'm just saying. I'm not saying that was the direct cause, but it surely didn't help.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure you guys are thinking, oh, well, times are hard right now. Money is tight. I have all these other expenses I need to worry about. I don't know, the rise of this authoritarian government in the land. No, you guys need some stickers. It'll make your life better. It'll signal to your friends that you're very cool, and it'll scare cops away. It's like a magical ward. It just repels bad people. You gotta get them.
Yeah, good karma and repels bad people. And also, if that's your excuse, get your paper up, Brokey. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I know you guys are thinking, Briar, there's no such thing as like a sticker that repels cops. Well, you know what? I know a few of our friends who have bought the stickers and they haven't been hassled by police since then. So, put two and two together.
Yep. There's really no debating that. I mean, proof's in the pudding, baby. Get 'em.
Yeah, and you can support the show for just one easy payment of $6 American every month, hopefully forever, because that's how Patreon works. Anyway, first let's talk about a little bit of news, because we want to shift gears for this episode, maybe the next couple episodes. I don't know. We're like the Joker in here. We don't make plans for the future. We're gonna lay off the news about social media for a while, for a number of reasons. The number one reason being that it fucking sucks. I'm kind of sick of it.
Yeah, it's kind of a tired topic at this point. I mean, it's on a lot of people's minds, and for good reason, but I think we've said our piece for now, especially about the big platforms. It's like, if you didn't listen to our last episode, you should. And, one of our takeaways there was, and this is a real hot take, but like, don't use them. Hey, take that to the bank with you, player.
Yeah, I know there's been like some developments over the last year or so, with like, okay, Musk is making Twitter/X.com, the everything app, worse. There was a whole thing with Zuckerberg and changing the policies on Meta, Facebook, whatever. And sure, those are worth like talking about when they happen. But I think we've been like pretty consistent on this show, like from the moment it started, that, hey, a lot of bullshit on the internet is just here to like rot your brain and make you feel worse about your day. And, especially now, with the new administration or whatever, I feel like maybe this is a little conspiratorial, I don't know, but I feel like this stuff is like purposely like laid out to like overwhelm you and make you feel like powerless and like just fucking doom and gloom and just wallow in despair all day. Hey, that's the name of the show. But yeah, I don't know. I just feel like, yes, everything going on right now is really bad, and I don't want to like downplay that a little bit. But like, I think back to like the first Trump administration, right? And it felt kind of similar. Maybe not as bad. It definitely feels a bit worse now. But it definitely felt like, oh man, there's some crazy new shit going on every single week. And like looking back now, I can't even remember like fucking 99% 100% of that shit, other than like a few of the big things, right? So I don't know, maybe with some hindsight like that, just, you know, pay attention to the things that matter, like keep yourself safe, you know, don't be a fucking dumbass, look out for your friends and all that. Try to get something going with your community, but like, don't fucking just take every headline or whatever at face value. Don't try to like bear the weight of every single new insane thing you hear every single day, like 100%, because you're gonna go mental. We're like one week into this shit, so so buckle up. I don't know.
Yeah, and maybe try to stay off airplanes and helicopters too. Apparently, limit your flying. That's my advice to deal with this whole new administration.
Yeah, I haven't gotten all the news about that headline yet. Did that have like was that like directly the result of some new policy or whatever, or was it just like an unfortunately timed like airplane accident or whatever?
No, I mean, like there were air traffic controller layoffs and a bunch of other shit that like you can look into it. It's pretty easy to find. Like it's not, there's no like direct proof of this. It could have been a freak accident, but it's a little sussy timing that all of these cuts were happening to like the air traffic controllers and shit like that, and then this happened. It's like, yeah, there might be a correlation there. I guess it's
a little sussy when one of the vehicles or whatever is like a Black Hawk helicopter, right? So that gets a lot of people nervous or something.
Yeah. It's a little weird for sure.
Yeah, I don't know. A lot of people are afraid of flying, but I do think it's one of those things where, like, you know, actual fucking airplane accidents are like very rare. Like, they are horrific when it happens, but I don't know. Just try to keep chill about the headlines for the near future, and we'll do our best here to keep you guys a little distracted, maybe, or thinking about some other things to keep your mind off of how Twitter sucks these days.
Yeah, for sure. I will say though, if I get on a plane and there's an Olympic sports team on there, I'm getting right the fuck off. They can call the air marshal if they want, but
yeah,
no, it seems right around.
It seems like I've heard of a few cases where like entire Olympic teams just all fucking like bite the dust on it's unfortunate.
Yeah, it's oddly common. I mean, maybe it's just like we hear about it more and there's like more of them. So, but like, I don't know, man, like, yeah,
I guess maybe it's like a bulk package sort of thing, right? I guess those people are just like more prone to like flying together as a group or something. True.
That is a good point. Although like that one what was like a football team and like from like Chile or something, and or I forget where they were from, where they like crashed in the Andes and they had to like do cannibalism and shit.
I think I heard about that. I don't know if that was a sports team or whatever, but I definitely heard about that story.
Yeah, it was some sort of sports team. I forget what it was and where they were from. I think it was soccer, football for all you Europeans out there.
Would you do it?
What, eat somebody?
Yeah, if you had to.
Fuck, man. I mean, like, it's easy to say no, but yeah, like,
are there any factors that would like influence this decision? Like, what if they're like a really fat person and they're like juicy or something?
Yeah. I mean, that would be easier. I'm not going to eat like a lean person. I mean, you need the fat is more nutritious.
What if it was like a white girl that's wearing some of those like shorts that say juicy on the back? Do you think that's like, okay, you got to find out?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. This is a weird tangent.
Yeah, this is, and if it's not, you say like false advertising. Am I right? Like that would be like a Marvel movie line, and then I would just look at the camera and be like,
I understood that reference.
Yeah. The not to stay on this one for too long, but the fucked up thing about that one that I remember is like when they came back, like when they got saved eventually, the ones who survived, fucking mashallah to them. Like there was all this backlash. People were just like, how could you do that? It's like, man, fuck you. You go fucking like sit on the top of a mountain starving for a while. You'll see what kind of fucked up shit you do. Don't judge these people, you bitch.
Yeah, see, I would just get around that situation by filling my entire like carry-on package with like just nothing but like animal crackers and like not tell anybody the entire time.
Yeah, that's all you need to survive. For
everybody's like
months.
chowing down on somebody's like thigh or something. I'll be like, no, I'm not hungry. I'll just starve. It's okay. Just eat me
good.
next, and then I just like sneak some animal crackers.
Yeah, the power of God is keeping me alive, and you're just eating the most delicious animal crackers in the world. Like, you're consuming flesh as well, but the flesh of a like a cheetah that is made out of like mostly sugar and bleached flour. So
yeah,
it's basically the same thing.
Rip to those 70 other motherfuckers. God chose me to get through this horrifying situation.
And then you can go on talk shows afterwards and just be like, I don't know what the fuck their problem was. Like, that's pretty gross.
Yeah, I could be the star of a reality show called like My Fucked Up Cannibal Life or something like that.
Yeah, you should make that.
Yeah, they should make that. Speaking of making shows, this is a great segue to what we're actually going to talk about like 11 minutes into the episode today.
Yeah, this was all planned.
Yeah, it was all planned. This was all pre-recorded. This was not this is a reality podcast actually. It's actually scripted. I don't know.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's a reality podcast in the sense that it's completely scripted. But we just don't get paid for it.
Yeah, exactly. It's just the most erratic script where we're constantly interrupting each other and stumbling over words. Anyway, so we wanted to shift gears a little bit. We talk a lot about the internet, and I guess we'll talk a little bit about it today because like that can't be avoided. But I wanted to talk, at least for a couple episodes, about some stuff going on TV, or like stuff that went on TV, because let's be real, nobody fucking watches television anymore, and nobody has for a long time. And you know, when I decide, you know, oh, this will be a good topic or not, I'm trying to think like, okay, this is relevant to people want to hear about this, how can we make this interesting? And it got me thinking, like, we look at all the ways that like social media and the internet and whatever has gotten worse in the last couple years, and people are freaking out about it because like, oh, I don't know, people are just the right age where they're seeing this happen for the first time. But I think there's a lot of like almost direct parallels in the ways in which television has gotten worse throughout my lifetime to how the internet is getting worse right now. And I think maybe by looking back on just like the worst excesses, the most like vapid bullshit that ever hit the air on TV, maybe it'll give us some new perspective or like appreciation for like what's going on the internet nowadays. And I thought, what better way to start this than talking about some very fucked up, I guess, can these be counted as reality TV shows? I don't know.
I mean, well, like the thing about reality TV shows is they are like like in what universe are they reality? They're like, if not scripted, very much like manipulated to the point of they might as well be scripted. So yeah, I mean,
know. I know that they use like the idea of a reality TV show, right, is that they're not like Hollywood actors. It's like, oh, it's like a real person that like sent in an application to star on the show. But even then, it's like they're recording these people for probably like dozens of hours, like over 90% of which doesn't hit the air. And they can just take anything from the parts they did film and splice it together to like craft whatever narrative they want. And even then, from what I've seen of the behind the scenes features of a lot of these shows, they do constantly have like the staff and the producer telling them like, hey, can you be more like this? Can you try to like play the villain character a little bit more? Can you kind of like lean into this sort of thing or whatever? So I don't know, they're very, I don't know, disingenuous. At least I think it's a very deceptive kind of media, no matter what way you cut it.
Oh, for sure. And I know there have been people who kind of blew the whistle on this shit for a while, whether they're like ex-producers or staff or the people who are actually on these shows, and they're just like, yeah, like, be angry about this. And like, when you're some fucking dumb, like, think about the people who like apply to be on these shows and just be like a fucking spectacle of shit, pretty much, usually for no money, or like low money, or I don't know what the incentive is other than like, I'm on TV, I'm very famous. Like when some Hollywood douchebag is telling you what to do, they're going to fucking do it. So it's probably very easy to manipulate anybody who chooses to be on these shows, because it is like, I guess, for the most part consensual. They're going to go along with this shit. So yeah, you're probably not seeing anything that's even remotely reflecting reality.
Yeah, this is something that's kind of been on my mind for like a long time. I think probably back to like when we first started the podcast, and it's this feeling I have that like, I think if you want to be like a public figure on the internet at all, right, you need to on some level acknowledge that you're being like a little bit of a narcissist, right? I think there's like a bit of presumption that comes with the idea of like, oh, my opinion, or the stuff that I make is so good that it deserves to be put out there and to have like an inordinate amount of attention on it. I deserve to be more well known, even to a small degree, than the average like dumb fuck that just like exists on this earth for like whatever reason. I think you need to like swallow that and just like go forward with it, and just, I don't know, try to be humble wherever you can. But in a lot of ways, right, you know, I think we've seen with the internet, the idea of being like a capital letters content creator, it kind of self-selects for the most like petty, vapid, kind of like undeserving, like dumb motherfuckers ever. Just look at, I don't know, the most popular people in any niche of the internet doing absolutely anything, and see how like fucking dumb and lame they are. And you know, this is like the same thing has kind of always been true with TV, right? I think like back in the day, like there was a little more prestige to like Hollywood as a whole, and like, oh, it meant something to be an actor and to get through all the hoops you have to jump through to appear on TV at all. And that kind of, I don't know, they kind of lowered the bar a lot by introducing like reality TV into the mix. And now regular people just like you and me can just like make it big on television and be like well-known personalities or whatever. So I think, you know, in the case of a lot of these shows, it does, you know, self-select for people who kind of want the attention. And I don't know, maybe there's something about wanting attention that's a little not good. You know?
Oh, for sure. And in this kind of shit, it breeds two types. The professional celebrity, where their skill is to just be famous, and usually it's just like a fairly uninteresting person who is just shoved into your face so much that you have to know who they are, and just by like, it's a positive feedback loop where you know them, so they get more famous, so more people know them, so they're so it's just like, what, like, I mean, like, if you transported some person from an alternate universe here, and they're just like, what do they do? So everybody knows, what do they do? Oh, they just like, they do nothing.
No,
okay,
you don't get it.
Cool.
She made a funny noise with her mouth and then said, "Spit on that thing."
Oh yeah. That makes me feel something inside. And the other breed that comes from this is lol cows. And we see this a lot in the internet now, but like, lol cows have been around since the early days of reality TV shows. I mean, I remember all those the MTV like Road Rules, Real World shit. They'd always get one like ridiculous doofus on there who was just like,
oh yeah, this person's gonna be the wild card or whatever.
yeah. And the person was just like, they're always like just being fucking annoying, and everybody's like, "Oh, I can't believe he did that." Whoa. What?
Yeah, the person might have like an annoying catchphrase or something.
Mm-hmm.
Have you
or
ever
they're just like, yeah.
Have you ever seen, I don't know, I guess it's like an internet show. I'm pretty sure it's not on TV. It was this thing, I think it's still going, made by Sam Hyde. It's called like Fishbowl or Fish Tank or whatever, something like that, where it's like one of those reality TV shows where like, oh, we're going to film people living in a house together, but like they are deliberately seeking out people to just like turn them into lol cows. It feels like the logical end point of all of this stuff.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, because lol cows sell. That's why because these early ones, they needed like an every, like if you look at if you are really interested in like the origins of reality TV, and it probably goes back before this, but that was my first like exposure to that, I guess, were those MTV reality shows in the fucking like early 2000s, late 90s or whatever. And there would be like the everyman American dude. There would always be like a black dude who like they tried to frame everything about like their race, even though it was like a normal person. There would be the lol cow. There would be like the blonde fucking dumb woman, and then there would be like a gay person, and it's just like,
or they might get like a like the nerdy Asian guy or whatever. That's another one I see a lot.
Yeah. So it was just like, it was like a show that reflects like some sort of like kids cartoon where they just had to like fill every box of like just like everybody is this unique stereotype.
It kind of reminds, it's like the Magic School Bus effect. Like, okay, we got to get one of every minority and maybe like two white kids, and one of them will have red hair and be kind of a nerd.
Yeah. And they'll somehow like just kind of be the main characters naturally.
Could you imagine if they had the concept of lol cows back when they first started reality TV shows, like just putting like somebody like Chris Chan on like a real like Hollywood produced like reality TV show? That would be really funny.
That would be crazy. Like I think they would be in the early, they'd probably be too scared of that. They'd probably think they can't control a person like that. It's going to be too outrageous for the FCC.
Just imagining some like perfectly like clean cut motherfucker, like a Ryan Seacrest type, being like, "Okay, Chris, now what we've got here is a normal person is going to color in this drawing of Sonic the Hedgehog, and you just need to react completely normally for 30 seconds. You think you can do that, Chris?"
I'm working on it. I'm working on
and then like 10 seconds into the freak out, it's just a loud buzzer noise, and what's his name, Simon Cowell's just absolutely dreadful. You need something needs to be done about this child.
Yeah, he just comes in there and just electrocutes everybody in the room.
Mm-hmm, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I think maybe I should put the brakes on that thought. But yeah, I don't know. Reality TV shows have been like pretty terrible for a long time, basically like since their inception. Maybe before we start getting into it, I thought I'd ask, do you have like a history of like watching any of these at length?
So like I said, I did watch those like Real World and Road Rules shows because I was like a fucking like preteen at that point, or like a teenager. I don't remember when that shit was on. And other than that, like, not that I can remember. I was never like into any of this shit. When I completely checked out of that shit is when like Survivor became a thing. Do you remember Survivor? That was like,
yes, I remember that
for ages. And I think I mean the thing about like TV, when TV was like the dominant way of consuming fucking shit media, it was kind of always like on, like somewhere, whether it's in your house or like somebody else's house or whatever, just people like put on the TV, and I remember watching that and I was like, this is fucking stupid. Like, fuck this shit.
Yeah,
I think I was like anti-reality TV relatively early in like in comparison to the average person.
Yeah, I never got into Survivor in particular because I grew up as kind of like the fat kid at my school. So everything I saw in Survivor was just like dredging up like bad memories. Like, oh god, this is like an entire show like gym class on a tropical island. I can't watch this. This is too traumatic for me.
Yeah.
I never got into that. I also had kind of like an anti like hate watching sort of, not, I didn't really watch it, but reality TV was one of those things that like it was like cool to hate when I was like a teenager. It was like I don't like this because it's popular. I think it's dumb or whatever. I remember when the Jersey Shore was airing on TV, I just knew it was like really funny to make fun of this like Snooki chick or whatever. It's like, oh, Snooki, what a dumb bitch or whatever. And it's like I never watched this show. I don't know who that is other than like, I don't know, she has like a goofy name and she's on TV or something. I had a very similar vibe with like, Justin Bieber. When Justin Bieber was first becoming famous, it's like, look at this dumb little twink. Oh, he's so famous. Oh, what a gay little nerd or something like that. And it's like I didn't give a shit about his music or anything. I don't know. There were a lot of things I just hated because they were popular as a teen. And like looking back, a lot of it I'm sure was like still pretty like dumb and vapid, but I don't know. That was the only relationship I had with any of this media when I was younger.
I forgot about Jersey Shore. The Jersey Shore was interesting because it was all lol cows. By virtue of being a show completely comprised of like New Jersey Guido trash. But the interesting thing about Snooki is she was the lol cow of the lol cows. Mm-hmm. So that's why she was the most famous one there. I don't remember any of the other guys'
I know there
names.
was a guy named like The Situation or something.
Yes,
and didn't he have like he
Situation.
tried to make that like his catchphrase or something. He tried to just insert the word situation into things, if I remember right.
Yeah. Which is cool. You know somebody is cool when they're trying to like be a meme. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that definitely belies that they're trying to be the type of like the professional celebrity type of just like, I want to be famous, but I have no like marketable skills. And like not even like that interesting of a personality. I'm not that funny, so I'm just gonna be a fucking moron. Mm-hmm. I'm just gonna be a doofus, and I'm gonna like think that I'm cool for this, but just not really actually be cool at all.
Word of advice for everybody listening out there. I feel like if you want to be like the person that has like a nickname or something, I feel like that's really up to other people, you know. I feel like you can't come up with your own nickname. It feels kind of disingenuous when that's the case.
No, it'll be like that Seinfeld episode where George wants to be called T-Bone. What's going to end up happening is somebody else is going to be called T-Bone, and you're going to be called what was it? Coco the Monkey? I don't know.
Coco the Monkey?
Yeah.
That was my nickname in college.
Yeah. We all know a Coco.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I got that name from my ability to barely communicate and everybody being very proud of me regardless.
Yeah, you could point to like pictures and like, oh, she's very intelligent.
Yeah, me want monster energy, me want, me thirsty, want energy.
She's communicating. Everybody, get the camera.
Yeah, also, I hope everybody's proud of me. I haven't had an energy drink in like 2 months or something like that, and it'll probably stay that way because they're expensive and my teeth hurt for a while after that.
I'm taking twice as many stimulants to balance the show out.
Yeah, there we go. The energy will persevere. The show has to go on.
Yeah. I might have to move to meth pretty soon, so please visit the sticker shop. Meth is pricey.
I mean, that's basically just like the grown-up version of like ADHD meds, right? I'm pretty sure they're basically just like the lesser version of meth already. So
exactly, and I'm diagnosed, baby. Give me that crystal. I need just a couple little toppers offers across the day, you know. It's
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
To move
just
things
kidding. Just kidding. That's a joke, everybody.
To move things along, though,
drug use here. Okay, go ahead.
Look, there's a different kind of reality TV show, right? That's like, okay, you have shows like Jersey Shore, where okay, the people we're watching, they're all kind of like a character in their own way, whatever. You can argue however sincere it is or not. Or you have shows like Survivor, where it's like, okay, these are like real people, but it's like a game show. They're here to like participate in contests or whatever. Yeah. There's another kind of show which I wanted to initially label title as misery porn when I first wrote this episode, but then I googled the term and it's like, oh, that's more like a term for a specific kind of fiction. Like some people would say that, oh, Game of Thrones is misery porn because it's like, oh, all your favorite characters are gonna die very, very unceremoniously or whatever. So maybe misery porn is the wrong word for it. But I wanted to talk about a specific genre of TV shows that are like, the entire premise is basically, we got a film crew out here to film this person's very sad, depressing life for a few days, and then ostensibly try to help them in some way. And like, I don't know, one of the shows that the first came to my mind with this, and I watched a shit ton of this at a few points. I binge watched this throughout the years, which was the show Intervention. Have you ever seen Intervention, Dave?
Yes, randomly. It's a show for sure. Yeah. I mean, like, do you have any Intervention highlights? Any favorite episodes? Anyone that come to mind when you think of this?
Well, it's kind of hard to talk about this show without talking about at least two of the clips that kind of blew up and became memes about like maybe close to 15 years ago now. I know these were popping off when I was in high school in like the late 2000s or whatever. Have you ever seen the clip of Intervention where it was called like worst cry ever or something like that, and it's like the black guy and he's like breaking down in
from
tears?
Intervention?
It is, and he's like,
I thought that was from like Maury or something like that
or whatever. I don't know. Yeah, it's this fucked up clip. Like I watched it in context, right? And like it's like, okay, so if you don't know, the show is, okay, they follow somebody with like a debilitating drug addiction or whatever for a few days, and then you hear from all their family and people they know and things like that. And at the end, they have an intervention. They try to get this person some help or whatever. And there's this clip where one of this person, it's not the user themselves, it's one of their like family members or something, is like breaking down into tears. And I guess he wants to, he's about to cry or something like that. But I mean, I'm not going to give anybody shit for how they cry. Like, you don't have any control over that. But his cry comes out as like a weird, like, I've seen some people describe it as like a lowercase scream, like an ah. I'm sorry, that's very insensitive, but like whatever. And like people have remixed this like thousands of times as like a goofy meme. I saw they parodied that moment on like Family Guy of all things, and it's like, man, this is really fucked up.
Yeah. I still love you.
I'm just watching like the Audacity bar just like fill completely blue for a few seconds every time I do that.
Yeah. It's that I definitely remember that one. That was great.
There was another one which was a little bit of a deeper cut. It was this poor white lady, and she was really into inhalants or whatever. I don't remember the specific one, but like, guys, don't fucking do inhalants. That will actually like destroy your brain or whatever, and it's not even a very good high.
Yeah, there are better drugs to do for sure. Don't huff gasoline. Like,
yeah,
that's bottom barrel shit.
Yeah, I don't remember the specific one that she was on, but it's this clip of this lady going like, it's like I'm walking on sunshine, and then she takes another huff of like her inhalant or whatever, and it's just like, oh, she looks really fucked up. And then there's another clip of her going like, I wish I had a father, and then just taking another hit and just like breaking down into tears. And again, I've seen people do like fucked up fucking like YouTube poop remixes of this whole thing, and I'm just like, man, it really sucks that like I do believe that the producers of the show try to take it seriously and not have any like light moments. I don't think they play it up. It's a very like commentary light kind of show, but there's something kind of fucked up about like filming it at all that I think kind of invites this sort of reaction on the internet. And I don't know, it makes me feel very very weird inside watching it.
I mean, these people are fucked up in the first place, but
right.
It is very predatory to find these people. And then like the thing is, when people are like fucking with lol cows or whatever, or when lol cows put themselves out there, if we're talking about like, you know, like modern internet bullshit, that's one thing. But like, this is like directly like finding these people and kind of, putting them on the stage. But like it seems even more sinister to me when it's just like, yeah, we found this person because we're trying to help them. And then they just like show their like darkest moment and like most embarrassing and shameful moments on this like shitty like TLC fucking TV show.
Yeah, I think most of the shows we're talking about today were from A&E, which I don't have much more respect for as a network than TLC. I think they're all kind of trashy and shitty.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, okay, it's one of those situations where I think just by the format alone, I don't think there's like a way you can really do it right? Because like when I watch a show like Intervention, it's like, yeah, they add some dramatic music or something, which, that's kind of inherently a little bit shitty or something, but it's mostly like kind of low-key, sad ambient tracks or whatever. And, it's very sad subject matter, so, like, I guess it kind of makes sense. And, like, even when they go out of their way to, like, okay, they're going to interview this person's, like, family and, like, friends or, like, coworkers or something, and everybody is, like, they're taking it seriously, like, yeah, it's like, oh, I've known this person for so long, I just don't know where it all went wrong, blah blah blah, or oh, they had a really hard childhood or whatever. And like, no matter how seriously you take it, I think, and no matter how much help you're offering them in the end, I feel like people should not have their entire lives be put on display just to like get the help that they desperately need. I feel like even if you were not trying to add in any like high stakes fucking gonzo elements to the show, there are people who are gonna watch it just to like fucking like gawk at this like poor weirdo or whatever, like no matter how you handle it, right?
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, like, when your life is put on display in a non-consensual way, and I'll like I will specify that non-consensual in this instance means like you get no final say over how this is edited, produced, released, everything like that. So like, it's somebody who like has a YouTube channel and they put themselves on there and they do stuff and whatever, and then they edit it, or the editors they hire and whatever, and then they release it on the that's completely different. But even if somebody's like, oh yeah, you can film me doing this, and then like a camera crew comes and a producer comes and they say, oh, do this, do that, and okay, like we'll follow you around, what are you gonna do here? And then it's like, okay, thanks, we got all this footage, and then they edit it to like make it whatever some fucking ghoul producer for these like trash TV stations wants to do. Like that part is absolutely non-consensual, and it's like for those people, it's like I like a lot of that is like a lot of the fallout from that like will follow you around for the rest of your life. Like the most epic cry ever guy or whatever, that is like his legacy to the world.
Yeah,
forever.
like when he signed whatever paperwork to agree to be on television for like the right to record him or whatever, like he didn't know at that time that that's the sound that he would make in that moment of like overwhelming trauma or whatever.
Yeah, in how transparent are they when they're like talking about this shit? It's like, oh yeah, it's gonna be a TV show about people getting help. Can you sign this? Anyway, okay, cool. You got your signature. Well, now they just like own this dude like forever. Like,
yeah, and
it's great.
It also needs to be said that like in the case of like say the person with the addiction themselves, like one for the show Intervention, they do try to keep it a secret from that person that they're going to have an intervention later. I think they sell it to them on the premise of like, hey, we're doing a documentary about addiction. Do you want to be in it? Which I guess is not wholly inaccurate, and like I understand why they lied to that person, but the thing about it is like the subject matter of these shows demands that they seek out people who are in that moment not living their best life, right?
For sure.
I want to do like a separate episode where we talk more about like the more like talk TV kind of shows like this, like Dr. Phil or like Maury or like Jerry Springer. God, that's gonna be a crazy one. But I was watching a video essay recently about the Jeremy Kyle show. Have you ever heard of Jeremy Kyle?
I have no idea who the fuck Jeremy Kyle is.
Okay, probably because he's British. He's like the British Jerry Springer. I don't think he's on the air anymore, right. But whatever. Right. And in this video essay, they were going over how, they got a lot of people on the show who are like, they're people who live in poverty. They're people who aren't like very well educated or whatever. They're people who are like aren't doing very well for themselves in life. They're, in British parlance, they're on benefits and they're fat or whatever.
Council housing,
yeah.
Council house.
Yeah, the people like that. And they were talking about how, to get on the Jeremy Kyle show, people have to write in and apply, and they have the staff of the show go over them like, okay, do you agree? Do you give us consent for all these things? Here's a big document or whatever. And like, no matter how much they would try to like properly inform people, it's like, a lot of the kind of people who want to be on that show, not to diminish their own like agency or whatever, but like they're not living their best life right now. They're not in their best state of mind. They sign those consent forms very readily, and then it's kind of out of their hands, and that's really fucked up.
I looked this dude up, and he looks like okay, I get it. And
Jeremy Kyle's like a real cunt.
he has that look to him. He looks like dark timeline Anderson Cooper.
From what I understand, he went to like a really like rich people kind of school, but he's not actually known for doing anything other than the Jeremy Kyle show, so he's just like a random fucking guy.
Well, there's like an about page about him, and so his education's from the Reading Blue Coat School and the University of Surrey. Very prestigious. Very
jolly
prestigious.
Good.
Jolly good. But spouse lists 3 names, and it's like, yep, that tracks. That tracks. Of course, you've been married 3 times.
Another fun thing about the Jeremy Kyle show in particular was before people would appear on that show, they would go through like a psych evaluation. Like, hey, are you legally sane enough that we can put you on television or whatever? And the person who would conduct like the psych eval on their show guests did not actually have any like psych credentials or whatever. Amazing. So it's just a random fucking interview. Like, this person seems stable enough.
Yeah, it was probably the opposite. Is like, are you insane enough to be on this show?
Well, that's another thing. They also had producers telling them, hey, get the most like crazy, outrageous people. It'll be good for ratings. And now, when we're talking about the show Intervention, I think they're probably a little more professional than that. But the thing is, I don't fucking know. You don't know either when you watch that show. Like, I know they have like a real like intervention based organization that has like trained facilitators to do the whole thing once it comes to the last 10 minutes of the show or whatever. But like, I don't know anything about the process for like how they find these people or like what hoops they have to jump through to appear on TV at all. And like, I don't know, maybe we should ask more questions about these things. Maybe there should have been, I don't know, more oversight with what does and doesn't get aired on TV. But I don't know, maybe it's a little too late for that because nobody fucking watches this shit anymore.
Yeah, for sure. And it's especially funny like when it's all done under the pretense of like we're here to help. We're here to heal these people. And then they just cut to a clip of them like falling down the stairs and like being embarrassing. It's like, this show's all about healing. It's like, oh yeah. Sure. Okay.
Yeah, just cut to somebody doing like the whole fucking Homer Simpson falling down the gorge segment, and that's like, oh, this person had everything going for them. That's really unfortunate. They had their whole life ahead of them, and they're just languishing on the floor, just taking another hit, just walking on sunshine or whatever.
Hey, look at this poor. Look at this poor, and what they're doing.
This person's so poor and so addicted to drugs, and worst of all, they're fat.
Yeah, we're gonna help them. Hey, And then they get some hard hitting expert in there, and they're just like, "Hey, stop eating and be less poor." It's especially fun when they get a guy like Dr. Phil, who's like, their entire thing is to just like, oh, it's stern, tough love, because like this shit appeals to like authoritarian boomers who got like abused by their parents and that like actually fucked them up way more than it helped them, despite what they think. And they're just like, finally somebody could speak truth to these people. They just needed to hear somebody not lie to them for once.
It's like, Dr. Phil's even worse, because he'll just come up with like some stupid like kitschy phrase about like you can't attract bumblebees with marmalade or something like that.
Yeah, and then just like all these like people with dementia who actually still watch this shit or ever watch this to begin with are just like, yeah.
You know what they say about putting a broomstick under the Christmas tree.
Yeah, Dr. Phil clearly was like created to appeal to like the most like deranged, like fucking dudes who were just like they just love punishment. And
back
like,
in my day, gay people would be shot. Vinegar.
But now they're not, so you should be thankful. And so the reason that you have trouble
just the bee's knees
being gay is because you're not taking agency over yourself, and you're a raccoon who lost its tail.
Anyway, we're going to sign you up for this prison camp in Utah. Oh, man, we have so much to talk about fucking Dr. Phil later, but that's for another day.
Yeah, that guy fucking sucks. Fuck that dude.
Did you ever see the photos of his fucking mansion that he put up for sale? Like, he's the most like fucking like old man boomer coded motherfucker ever, and he lives in this fucking like Willy Wonka like funhouse mansion or whatever.
That tracks, because like all these like new money rich motherfuckers, they have like the worst taste ever. And they'll overpay for the shittiest McMansion in like some fucking garbage area of the world, and then they'll just fill it with like trash. Just be like, yeah, look at this like tiger head that I put up there. That's $20,000. That's a real tiger. And people are like, oh, cool, Uncle Phil. Can we go home now?
Yeah, check out this recreation of Michelangelo's David I've got. I just pay a real guy to stand in my house naked for 24 hours a day.
Yeah, look at his dick.
I don't know. I don't want to make any accusations here, but I feel like I've seen the Dr. Phil like mansion or whatever. I'm like, people are definitely doing some blood sacrifices for adrenochrome in there. I don't know how else to cut it.
You think he's got human furniture?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
Maybe not so much now, what with the ice raids and everything going on, but...
Well, no, it's probably just the people who, like, failed his challenges. Just like, can you lose 100 pounds in 2 days?
Now you're moving into the Dr. Phil house forever. Forever and ever.
You can. All right, well, you failed, so you're going to be an ottoman in my house for the next 10 years. And
you're going to be an Ottoman for longer than the Ottoman Empire, if you know what I mean. Anyway, where were we? Something about intervention. I don't know. Anyway, this show is completely fucked. I just feel bad watching it the entire time, which I guess is the point. But even when they try to help people at the end, it's also just, I don't know, it just leaves me feeling kind of dirty.
Yeah, so the thing is, I watched some of this. I watched Intervention. I watched Hoarders. A bit of that.
I would love to talk about Hoarders
for this episode, and the thing I like came up with is like, it's not very entertaining. I mean, maybe it's a me issue, maybe it's a me thing.
I think it is. I think it is a you thing. I think I am just drawn to this media as like a dark impulse of like my womanhood. I think it's like a little bit of the something adjacent to the fucking like true crime brain rot that like makes me watch this stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I get that. Like true crime, I'm more interested in just because it's like a mystery. This is more just like, oh, this is like a mentally ill person, and that's about it. But like, I think a lot of this is like, I mean, we're making, like connections from the decline of TV, and just like putting out slop to the decline of the internet, where we're seeing fucking slop media on all of these platforms where you usually watch media. And the thing is, like, I think this is kind of like all of this shit is kind of just like the purpose of it has always kind of been just like background noise. And I think that was like, that's really what reality TV marked as it got like more and more vapid and lame is because like, okay, again, to be on my boomer arc and talk about like MTV's Real World in the beginning stages of it or something, like it was reality TV and it's fucking it's not high art, it's whatever, but like that was like a watchable show. Like you could sit down and like watch that show and it's like entertaining, I guess, or it was at least. I don't know, it's been fucking ages since I watched any of that shit, but like I see this stuff now, and like the later iterations of all this of all that stuff, and it just seems like it seems like the beginnings of just like second screen background noise shit.
Yeah, kind of. I was actually going to take this another way, which is to me it seems a lot like this is kind of like React content, right? Like you're not really watching somebody react to something, but it's the kind of content where like I think the entire point is to elicit a certain reaction from the people watching it, which is this feeling of like disgust or pity or like sadness or whatever.
Sure.
Which I guess you could say on some level everything on TV or like every form of media is there to get a reaction out of people. But I think people know what I mean when I say like React content or whatever. While I was looking for some stuff on YouTube in preparation for this episode, I did see at least one person recorded like a 2-hour video which was just like reacting to clips of intervention, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, man, who the fuck is watching this shit? Like get out of here. You need to be a little more private when you feast on the misery of other people's lives. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the thing. It's like we've reached like meta slop, where it's like slop that's like on top of slop. And like you could say this about people who like opine on shit like this and try to like, I mean, I have my beef with people who try to like intellectualize like TikTok trends and try to talk about it like through like a sociological lens. And
you guys get the most out of your fucking English lit degree, okay?
Exactly. And it's like, all right, dude, like cool, I guess. Like it's better than a lot of the shit out there, but it's just like I see it as like kind of like trying to justify like a TikTok addiction, where it's just like I spend 9 hours a day on TikTok, but like then I make a YouTube video where I'm like, is the TikTok trend of like beauty influencers toxic to women? It's
the hidden juche ideology of TikTok twerking videos.
Exactly. And it's always like a YouTube thumbnail with like 10 different screenshots of like shitty TikTok slop creators and like them in the middle just like
doing the fucking like DreamWorks face, like raised eyebrow, or like, I'm reacting to this absurd thing on the internet. Hoo, I have opinions about it.
And then like a pithy like phrase like it's not great ...
Yeah, I don't want to talk too much shit, but there's like a if you are on YouTube long enough, you'll see in like you finish watching a video and it's got like, oh, here's all the related videos or like stuff to watch next. And like sometimes you'll see a thumbnail pop up very often and it's like something you don't want to watch, but like you keep seeing it. I don't actually know what YouTube channel this is, but there's a thumbnail I see like that very often. That's just a person looking kind of quizzical, like surrounded by smaller things with just the word ableism ? And then I hover over it and it's like some like 3-hour analysis of like some Harry Potter bullshit. I'm like, I have better things to do with my life, my friend.
Yeah. I mean, that shit, like, I mean, I applaud the effort, I guess. But like, it's also like, you're really gonna do this like deep dive into like a disposable piece of shit and try to come up with like a literary like a media analysis of it. Now, like, I will say that like somebody like Big Joel will watch some bullshit and like I watched his one video about some Dr. Phil bullshit, and it was more about like a societal thing than like a deep critique of like the media itself, which like, okay, like I can get behind that, like that's fine, but like when people like watch slop and then try to extrapolate like really like crazy themes from that, like not even pertaining to like society, but like pertaining to the media itself, like was Carmela from The Sopranos actually trans? It's just like, dude, stop. Take your fucking DVD player and throw it out the window and go outside, please. Right. Take a walk. Like,
and like here's the thing, right? I think, I guess you could say that the subject matter of like a lot of like Big Joel videos or whatever, it is kind of sloppy. It's talking about like TV or media or whatever, but like at the end of the day, I can look past that because I think Joel makes good content, right? And that's the dividing line here. When I look at a lot of these like videos, like analyzing some TikTok trend, looking at this, like, putting my shit ass English lit degree to use. It's like, one, good for you, get that bag. I know this kind of stuff does really well on YouTube, but also like I think it's very cookie cutter. I think it's kind of lame. I have no interest in watching this stuff.
Yeah. Or extrapolating some like deranged corner of TikTok and like, this is a concerning trend that's sweeping through TikTok. And it's like 5 people just like saying deranged shit. And they're like, can you believe this? No, nobody can, because most people are normal. The reason you think this is like a concerning thing is because you spend all your time consuming slop on these platforms. So you're getting fed the most brain rotted shit. Get off TikTok and you're gonna be fine.
Right.
Go talk to a normal person. They don't believe in any of this shit.
Even then, there are some creators I watch who still do stuff about TikTok. Like I like Strange Eons. I like Izzy's, and like a lot of stuff they talk about is like TikTok stuff as well. But like I think they don't really have the pretense of like, oh, this is some like intense sociological deep dive. This is something really important. It's like, no, this is a weird thing on the internet. Let's look into it. And it's like, okay,
exactly.
Cool.
Exactly. And I think those people, like, they look at shit like that from an outside perspective. It's like looking at an ant colony and just saying, hey, look at how these ants crawl around. Isn't that crazy? But there are people who, like, they look at this fucking garbage and they think it's like a part of reality. Like they're in that reality. They think it's around us and that they need to like talk about it as if it's just something that like exists in the world of like actual normal people. And it's like, no, you're just online too much. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I don't know. I wanted to bring up the example of the ableism ? In my Harry Potter video, because I don't know when the video came out, but I think it was like relatively recent, like at least in the past year or two. And I'm like, Okay, one, does J.K. Rowling's like fiction suck? Yes, it's not good. Are her politics bad? Yes. Can you see some of her bad politics in her bad kids books? Yes. Like, do we need a fucking video about this, like, in the year of our Lord, like, 2024 or whatever? I don't think so. It reminds me of how I've seen other videos, like, just recently, there was a video I saw, I didn't watch the entire thing, but it was somebody talking about, how do you identify the alt-right pipeline? And this came out, like 2 or 3 weeks ago, and it just feels so fucking, like, outdated and, like, tired to me. Like, what the fuck are you talking about alt-right? There's nothing alternative about these people anymore. That's the entire right. Fucking get with the times. I don't know.
Yeah. It's I don't know. Like, it's I feel like there's a lot of people like watching the samey shit over and over, and then they want to do, which I encourage anybody who wants to create shit to do that. But it's like, don't just like cynically latch on to like the same shit you've been watching for that, like a video that you watch that's 4 years old, and just like trying to be like, I'll do my take on that, which is like the same shit but like worse and more irrelevant. Like, talk about something like that, like actually interesting, or you know, like a unique take. Like, I don't know, it's
or at least have the balls to tune into some people who will actually like fed post about the people who suck, like us.
yeah And I mean, like, we can bring that back to the TV shit, and like this is one of the other things that marked how reality TV was like the decline of TV in general. And to be clear, there was a lot of garbage on TV before reality TV like caught on and became
absolutely
the norm. Of course. Just like there was a lot of garbage on the internet before, you know, the modern creator space of like everybody just trying to go viral or blow
Not
up
only was
on,
the internet always full of garbage, but it was produced more cheaply back then as well. So
yeah, for sure. And yeah, it's you can tell like when it's kind of like when there's that jump to like okay, we're gonna make we want to make something that's you know, that's like accessible and that people want to watch, but you know, we should make it like good by virtue of being good in whatever your conception of being good is. And like, I mean, you could think about like Hollywood movies and shit. It's like they want to sell tickets, but also it's like we could sell tickets by making a really fucking interesting film with like good actors who do good acting and you know, like good directing and shit like that. And then like now it's just like the whole purpose is to just like get views, make number big, and it's just like they'll just do anything, like the lowest effort possible to get number good. And it's very easy to see who's just trying to like be famous or be a creator, whatever that fucking means, and who is just like, I want to make this cool thing and I hope it blows up. Which in hoping your shit blows up, I'm behind that. I identify with that shit, but it's just like when that's your only onus for doing anything, then you are going to create garbage, and we see a lot of that now.
You guys heard it here first. Dave has the balls to ask, are people on intervention doing it for clout?
I'm not talking about people on intervention.
I know. I'm just kidding. I want to do a little guessing game here. Do you want to guess how many seasons there are of the TV show Intervention? Because I have the number right in front of me.
I
actually
would say,
let's say the number of seasons and the number of episodes total.
Okay, I would say 25 seasons. With 20 episodes each, whatever that is.
Okay, I don't know how many episodes each, but one, wow, you fucking got it spot on. There are 25 seasons of Intervention.
Hey.
This show started in March 2005, and it's still going to the present. And I don't know what the breakdown of episodes per season, but it is about 20-something. There's 355 episodes, according to Wikipedia.
Oh my. Yeah, that's pretty close.
Yeah, and
I'd say.
And I brought this up because I kind of wanted to build off of your point here, which is a lot of this stuff does feel like very repetitive. And, you know, when I look at videos like people are watching like, oh, is Harry Potter ableist? Like, okay, yeah, sure, probably. I don't need like an hour plus video to like break that down for me, especially like this far into fucking J.K. Rowling's like perpetual decline or whatever. But it's like, I don't know. I think a lot of people watch those videos to just kind of like affirm things that they already believe and just kind of put it on as like unchallenging background noise. Yeah. And that becomes more fucked up because it's like, man, you look at the show like Intervention and it's like, do we need 25 seasons of this? Do we need almost 400 episodes of like basically like the same thing going on over and over again? And I guess like sometimes they'll do an episode where they bring back somebody who was on a previous episode. It's like, oh, look, they're all cleaned up now. Isn't that nice or something? And hey, that's great. But it's like, I don't know, how many episodes of Intervention do you need to watch until like whatever compelled you to watch it in the first place is like satisfied, you know? I think at some point you have to like realize like, hey, it's kind of fucked up. Why am I still watching this? And that's just how it is.
Yeah, and what's the point? Like, what's the narrative there? Addicts are pathetic and bad. Look at this fucking junkie. Look at this fucking loser. And then they try to couch it and it's like, oh, there's trauma in his life. But then look at this fucking loser chugging a bottle of vodka and like stumbling down the stairs.
Yeah, there was another show I wanted to talk briefly about. Have you ever heard of My 600-Pound Life, a show about morbidly obese people? Yeah, this show, I will admit, I never actually watched it that much myself, if at all. It was like a TLC show or something. And like I said, when I was in like elementary school, middle school-ish, I was like the fat kid at school, and you know, I worked hard to lose some of that, but like I still feel bad about it. People treat you like shit when you're fat or whatever. So like I never tuned into this show because I'm like, okay, this is just gonna be like a miserable fucking experience or whatever. But I looked up some of it on YouTube as preparation for this show, and there are just some like absolutely insane like clips that people, like 10-minute clips or whatever, that people have put up on YouTube. I think some of them are from TLC themselves, but the worst ones are from like other people. This one video is from TLC in the UK. That's their YouTube channel. It's a clip of like, I guess, a doctor on My 600-Pound Life. The video is called Dr. Now's Most, all caps, Savage Moments, and it's just like a 10-minute video of this guy going, You missed your last appointment. If you don't eat better, you're going to die. And I'm like, that's not savage. That's just a doctor telling people they're gonna die. Yeah, like, Jesus Christ.
I watched that, and it was really weird because it was like the guy they got to do that. Like he's very blunt, but like.
He's not putting it on for the camera. This is just a normal-ass doctor.
Sure. In like, I can kind of understand this dude's frustration where he's just like, we're trying to do the surgery on you, but you need to lose like 50 pounds. Otherwise, like, if we do this, it's going to like fuck shit up even worse. Mm-hmm. And then like 3 months later, they come back and they're like 50 pounds heavier. And he's just like, no, like, I don't think you understand. Like, I'm not like lying about this. Like, you have to do this. Like, I don't know. And then they're like, like, I don't know, the narrative with like all, they were just like, oh, it's like I'm retaining fluids, and he's just like, no, like so like if you watch this, at first it sounds like he's kind of a dick, but then it's just like the way he like immediately responds to all this shit is just like he's probably heard this like hundreds of times before, where they're just like, oh,
well, I'm sure they've done hundreds of episodes, so probably
yeah, exactly. And it's just it's really weird because it's like I can feel for the patient. I mean, obviously they're there because they want to like they want to, you know, get to like a healthier weight. But then like I also get this dude just being like, oh man, this fucking bullshit again. Like,
yeah, I understand people are sensitive about their weight. Like, there's an element of shame where it's like, oh, you let it get this bad, and now you have to talk to a doctor, and it's like, oh, you're hearing the consequences of your actions laid out, and like, no matter what, like, even if it is your fault or whatever, and like, I would say anybody that lets themselves get to like 600-800 pounds, whatever, they've got some like mental issues working it out.
Yeah,
I don't think that's definitely not just like you just like had a personal moral failing or whatever. You're just like a lazy piece of shit. I don't believe that for a second.
That takes an incredible amount of work.
Mm-hmm. Like I'm not ready to say like, oh, nobody is overweight because they're lazy or something. I think, there are definitely some people who, they put on a few pounds and they just have like a lazy lifestyle or whatever, and they just don't really care about themselves. So like they just live with it. They don't really do anything about that, and like whatever. But like when you get into like, that territory, several hundred pounds or where it's like, okay, there's something else going on. There's another video, again, this is from the official TLC channel on YouTube. It's a 2-minute video called She's an 800-Pound Fetish Model, and it's just a thumbnail of this like fat woman like eating some pancakes, and like I watched it, and it's like this woman talking about how like, yeah, I got too fat to do any other job, so I just became like a sex worker on the internet, because like that's all I could do. And like, man, that's fucked up. Like I fully support people who want to do sex work. I don't think there's anything wrong with it, but also like we have to acknowledge the reality. There's a lot of people doing sex work who they would much rather be doing literally anything else if they could. So like that's, I don't know, it just seems like an insensitive thing to make that the thumbnail and just like gawk at this woman's problems for like all of like 2 minutes for 3.2 million views on YouTube. That's nuts.
Yeah, for sure. But, you have to be careful about putting that narrative out there, too, because it could turn to that Simpsons episode where Homer force eats so he could, like, work at home. Because I think there are some people who would just be like, man, that sounds cool. Yeah, well, thankfully, our employers have protected us from that by deciding that nobody should work at home ever. Get your ass back into the fucking office, piggies. Yeah, go to the 800-pound woman fetish office and make sure you fill out your time card correctly, because HR is going to come after you, and then your webcam and your pancakes are ready to go. But we start at 8:00 sharp, Charlene, and it's 8:02, so I'm not going to write you up this time. It's your first offense, but we do have a company culture here that values we value being on time. So yeah.
If you're late again, we're going to have to cut you out from the company pizza party and the second pizza party and also the third and fourth pizza parties.
Yeah. And it's not because we don't like you. We do value as a member of our team, but we do have certain company policies to uphold. And I hope you have a great day. Honestly, have a great day. Friday's Casual Friday. You can wear your casual muumuu instead of the work one, and it's gonna be a great day.
Yeah. I have one more thumbnail I want to talk about. This is not from the official TLC channel. I'm just gonna send this to you. This is posted by Big Craig, who I just like to imagine is like evil Big Joel. You know what I mean? Maybe you can describe this thumbnail for the people listening.
Yes. Okay. So it says, every star on my 600-pound life who died, and it's just a sad thumbnail. So the guy in the middle, that's the doctor, right?
That is the doctor, who's I guess they have one doctor for the entire show. I don't know if they have others, but he's the guy from the clips we saw.
Yeah. And then there are like just a bunch of like sad-looking fat people like around him in kind of a a V formation, and apparently they died, which sucks. So
my favorite part is like the background where it's like a fucking like haunted Halloween house or whatever with like the dead tree and like the full moon and like I guess like a tower or something. I don't know. It looks like some spooky Halloween bullshit there.
Yeah, this is what happens to you if you die and you're too fat. You go to like a haunted. Like the haunted upside down world from Stranger Things, and it's just that doctor verbally abusing you the entire time. Like, you should have lost more weight.
Looks like somebody has the munchies for a California cheeseburger.
Yeah, and there's no California cheeseburgers there. Just bark off the dead, scary, haunted tree.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. I guess. Maybe to wrap things up, the last thing I wanted to say is like the big thing that strikes me comparing like all these TV shows to like what I see on the internet nowadays is I think there exists in everybody this kind of like morbid impulse to like see other people suffer. And I don't know, I'm sure a lot of people will be like, I don't know, Brian, that sounds like a little bit of a self-report. And it is. I watch a lot of people suffering on the internet. It's not good for me. I need to stop doing that. That's a moral failing on my part. But like, I think these things kind of succeed and take off because there is like a big audience for it. I think on some level people can't help but like watch the train wreck unfold in front of them. And I don't know, like I know a lot of people really tune into shit these days, like commentary / drama YouTubers where they just like dissect some like weird person's life, or like, oh, look at this person, they're so disgusting, they're so weird, whatever, let's like just gawk at their existence for a little bit. And I think if people take anything away from this episode, I think it's that like you need to like interrogate that feeling in yourself and wonder like, what am I getting out of this? Do I need to watch like dozens of hours of this bullshit? Can I already like get the point of all these things without just like turning it on in the background and kind of like numbing myself to like the pain of other people who have like put their entire life out there for like an audience of millions? I don't know. I think this stuff isn't good for you. And maybe if you've listened to this show for any length of time, you knew that's what our takeaway was going to be. But I think the parallel is interesting nonetheless.
Yeah, I mean, I think you can see with a lot of this type of media that it does reflect something in the user base or in the viewership or whatever the fuck you want to call it. Like the people who are really into drama content. It's like the appeal of that is like when you have fuck else going on in your life, you like drama. And like I'm not gonna say I've never like watched like YouTube drama bullshit or whatever, but like the like extreme versions of this is the people who are like really into like TMZ celebrity drama bullshit, or who watch like soap operas where it's just like incredibly like inane, just like,
I can't believe Snooki put on 10 pounds.
Yeah, like that the people who really like daytime soap operas, and there's a reason they put it on in the daytime on like network TV, is because their viewership are like fucking housewives who don't
stay-at-home moms and shit.
Yeah, who don't really do shit, and that's the closest they get to like feeling anything about, you know, like just, you know, like just slightly complicated issues in life, I guess, because they're just so like checked out and fucking bored with everyone. And the same with like fucking people who are like obsessed over like the latest celebrity gossip. And like with the I think the people who are obsessed with like shit like My 600 Pound Life or Intervention or like lol cows and shit is like people who like feel kind of like a little bit shitty about themselves, and then they can but you get to watch this shit and just say like, well, at least I'm not this fucked up. Am I right? Like, cool.
Yeah. There are a
sad.
lot of times on this show where I've described certain things as being like spiritually bad for people. And like I need to be clear, like I don't really consider myself like a spiritual person. I'm not religious. I don't really believe in like astrology or any of like that woo bullshit or whatever. But I like to go back to describing things as spiritually bad because I think like a lot of like religion and spirituality, when you take away all the like mysticism and the magical like divine bullshit from it, it kind of goes back to like, oh, it's about like narratives that we believe about the world. It's like big legendary stories or whatever that kind of like inform how we feel about a lot of things, right? And I like to think of shows like this or like YouTube drama content or like a lot of things we tell you guys to refrain from like posting and scrolling Twitter. I think of it as spiritually bad because I think like the more time you spend engaging with this stuff, I do think, you know, even if you put it on in the background, even if you don't like think very hard about it at all or whatever, I do think it kind of shapes the way that you see the world and how you feel about other people. And like when you look at like the impoverished people that go on TV shows like this, it's like, okay, regardless of whatever consent forms they signed or whatever, it's like by watching these people in their worst and lowest moments, even if they get help in the end, I feel like it's kind of coloring how you feel about people who are struggling in general broadly. Like I feel like the way that they kind of voyeuristically like film these people's lives for a short amount of time and just having like a camera focused on them and watching that bullshit, I think it does prepare you to like think of these people as like lesser than you, or to like feel less sympathetic to their problems, or be like, wow, look at this like fat piece of shit. I wonder how many Twinkies they ate to get over being a big dumb loser or whatever, or some shit like that. And like that's the biggest reason I think you guys should like stop watching this bullshit. I feel like, I don't know, it kind of colors your life in a way that like it makes it worse, but I don't think you'll actually notice that it was getting worse until you actually like cut it out of your media diet and move on to something else. And I think that's my ultimate takeaway for this episode.
No, for sure. I completely agree with this, and I think it's very downplayed how powerful media and entertainment are in our lives, because like nobody wants to admit it, that you know, you watch a movie and it kind of affects you and it kind of makes you feel a certain way, whether it's like a good movie or a bad movie, but like the more, you know, good or bad, that's kind of that's not the point, whatever, you know, like litmus test you have for that, but it's kind of more like how engaging it is for you is going to affect like how much that affects you. And yeah, like media and the narratives within have a significant effect on everyone, all of us, no matter who you are.
It's like the Garfield meme. You are not immune to propaganda.
You are not immune to propaganda.
You are not immune to reality TV slop.
No, not even that. Like that's going to and when you talk about like spiritually damaging, like this does implant itself in some way deep down into your subconscious, whether you like it or not. So, be cognizant of the shit that you're watching and the narratives that are going on in your mind while you watch it, because like if you just watch garbage on autopilot and just accept it for what it is, that is going to burrow its way into your mind, and it might do some shit, which is why I think even the people who authentically and you know, kind of like genuinely talk about this bullshit and what it's all about, I think there is value there. More ideally, just like stay the fuck away from it because it's garbage. I think you can tell at this point like what slop is and what slop isn't. So maybe like, hey, you want to start eating healthier? You know what junk food is. in what healthy food is. Just in the same way that you know what slop media is and what healthy media is. So change your diet. Change your diet and stop making excuses about like it's just like just like junk food. It's like, hey, I had a bag of chips. Like, fucking shouldn't do that all the time, but it was good, and then I'm just gonna like suffer the consequences. But at least be cognizant about that. Don't just like passively consume whatever these fucking shitty algorithms or these fucking TV stations shove into your asshole and just say, oh, that's it. It's all trash, and I'm just here for the show. Fucking grow up, man. Grow up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, we definitely don't need to tell any of our listeners to have a good media diet because we're part of that media diet, and I think we're excellent. But you guys can always be doing better, and if you want a little more Super Despair World in your life, there's an easy solution to that.
Go on the Patreon, and Sinister $6. That's it. That's it,
guys. There's there's over 20 like bonus episodes up at the time of recording. Check them out. They're really fun. They're a great time. And we get a little more real. Think of it like the reality version of this show where we're not following a plan and we're just kind of shooting the shit.
Yeah, true. I will say that our bonus episodes, which are us like more like with less planning. Just talking about random shit are probably more like cultivated than most like just like surface level podcasts.
We try so hard to be like no effort, just make some stupid bullshit, and we fail every time. It just ends up being gold. We have no control over it. I don't know what to do with all these gems.
Can't stop, won't stop. Like,
Can't stop, won't stop. Anyway, let's shout out our patrons and call it a wrap.
Yep. Sounds good. All right. So we have Weasel, Nick, Nilly, Heresy, Protagon, Clam, Trevor Stilson, Walker, Woke Baby, Trash Bins, and Dimbus. Our sweet, sinister 6 babies. Love you as always. Thank you for the support, and y'all are doing it. Y'all are keeping us alive.
And if you guys can't afford the $6 for bonus episodes, don't worry. Consider signing up for a $2 tip jar and hang out with us in the Discord. It's a fun time.
Yeah, $2 tip jar is a new thing, so we'll love you for that one too.
Hell yeah. Anyway, look forward to next time. I think we'll do some more episodes about TV. I don't know if we'll do that next week, but soon. I definitely want to talk about Dr. Phil's various houses of hatred and horrors and other things.
Yeah, that'll be a fun one. But I think we have something special in mind for next episode.
All right, hell yeah. All right, we still love you guys. We still love you. See you next week.
Good fight, good night.